Come on. Come on, I literally just walked in here. Hello? Yeah, I know. I got the notification. I literally just walked in. But was there anything else? No. Well, I mean, I don't know what you're expecting. Because, again, like I told you, I literally just got here, so the only information I have is that the patient just woke up. Okay, well then just leave it at that. There's no other reason to just stretch it out anymore when I have some urgent to look after right now. Mm-hmm. Okay, so there was something else to it. Okay, then just tell me already. Not enough time for this. I know you're about to walk out on your own, and you're gonna pass it off to me. That's fine. I don't care. Start telling me that they woke up a lot earlier than anticipated. Right. Well, that does throw some things off, but right. Yeah. Just leave that to me. Then I can figure it out and see if that'll cause any issues for us. Yeah. Well, I mean, I would like if you could just tell me all this up front instead of trying to have you to spit out all the details while you're talking around it. Okay, well, if that's it, then... Okay, like what? No, I'm not doing that. Okay, yeah, I had enough. What a waste of time. I hate that guy. Well, finally, that's enough of that nonsense. I think it's about time to see how our subject is doing. And hopefully there's no issue. Oh, wow. Yeah, it looks like they're still in a daze. It's only been around 20 minutes since they woke up. Okay. Now, first, before you do anything, just slow down and try not to get up or anything. Just stay as you are. You haven't been awake for that long, and you've been out for quite some time. Although I won't disclose how long that will be, since I don't want to provoke any sort of fear or panic within you first. Okay? Not if you understand. Okay. So I know you're first confused about where you are and how you ended up here. Well, for starters, you were in an accident. A pretty bad one. Now, within that accident, you were the only one that made it out. And, like I've said before, you've been out for some time. That much I'll tell you for now. And as for who the others were, I can get to that later. I don't want you to panic over anything first. I can start feeding you more information once you start getting a proper feel for your bearings again. And, well, as for me, I'm responsible for watching over you until you recover. There might be the occasional nurse or assistant that comes in. Don't worry about that. But I am the one that's mostly responsible, or I'm wholly responsible for making sure to watch over your complete recovery. And any potential questions or concerns you may have, then please feel free to tell me that directly. I also had looked to take this case in particular, and it would be most fitting since I'm one that's in the know about the full details about what has happened to you. So I'll just give you a moment to just take that in and again get a feel for existing again for after being out for some time. As for how long, well, it's been around 20 minutes. Actually, no, that's not right. I'm sorry, I just retelling from my end. It was 20 minutes after you woke up when I got my call to stop by and see for myself how you were doing. But since then, it's been more like 35 minutes since you've awoken. Alright, well, yeah, so that's the first thing I'd recommend. It's don't try to force yourself to move or do anything sudden, any movements and all that. But feel free to put some stimulation around your body. Feel your hands for a bit. Right, send those signals, manipulate them a little bit. Your legs, your feet. Are you a little better on your stomach? Just careful as to move your head around a little. Now I have to note down any peculiarities you might be feeling right now. So, I'll start now. Is there anything abnormal that you're feeling right now? Or do you think this is something to just wait out and you'll be fine? No blurred vision, aching, soreness, a headache maybe, sore throat, anything can help. If it's something minor like that, then I can get right on to taking care of that for you. Because again, the main priority is just seeing where you stand at the moment with how you're able to interact with your own body, and that it can function normally on its own without any need of assistance or therapy. Yep, that is right. This entire time you've been laying here. But the thing with that is, we have given your body regular massages, and through that we can ensure that you can at least give your body, and more importantly your muscles, some stimulation to keep them from shrinking in size from inactivity. Just that we do put effort into giving you the necessities to not expire right on this bed. But also give you the proper nourishment to make sure your body stays stable. Stuff is to keep your body in check and to keep it as close as it was to prior to this accident. As for recovery, I honestly still have yet to have a proper estimate of that. Because, well, to be honest, I personally hadn't expected you to wake up for a month, give or take. So, right, I stand here now just to make sure that your premature awakening isn't a bad thing for you. Looks like for starters we're off to a pretty good start. So nothing feeling weird, out of place, or abnormal, nothing of the sort. Okay. Right, yeah, feel free to stimulate your body a little bit. No sudden aches or stings, pains, any of the sort. Yeah, I know I have my phone out. It's just that I like to keep a lot of notes on my own phone anyway. When it comes to physically documenting that, I can still do that. Plus, a lot of stuff is already taken care of by our computers and everything. Yeah, well, like I said, a lot of your needs during that time have been thoroughly looked at and taken care of. So, body-wise, nothing is deteriorating. So for someone that is woken up, well, you're as fine and stable as can be. Now, the other thing too is, I'm curious to know if you happen to remember anything. And I don't mean about the accident itself, just more personal side of things. But can you remember, say, well, about yourself? So I'll start here, and then I can look into asking about different things. So first about yourself, and then maybe things or people around you. Stuff like that. Yeah. So then first for yourself, what about your name? Yeah, that's good. What about, what is it that your profession was? Your career, job, whatever it might be. Okay. And then what about the people around you? It's okay if you can't exactly get the full details to have that like flood back to you instantly. Because again, you've only just woken up, so it's expected for your mind to start catching up, right? Maybe think of it as a reboot. It takes a while to get fully back into gear. And sometimes just a few little pushes to help you start going through those memories. right? So I'm sure this will help. So, right, so for as your career, that is right. And you weren't exactly the most talkative, but for those that you opened up to, you ended up making very solid connections with the ones you ended up opening up to. But on the other side, it took quite a bit of effort for someone else to be able to reach you and interact with you, communicate with you, all that stuff. And of course, that's before the actual working part of things. So right, so currently, as from what you've been told, that much is accurate. So very promising there that this is. And again, I'm not expecting you to be able to recall everything completely accurately. Just bits and pieces that I can hear, I can help put them together for you and help you finish certain bits that you say might not fully remember or be unsure about. And what word might be, just go ahead and tell me. You can go ahead and tell me what this thing was that you wanted to say. As for what happened in the accident, now this is something I had to be really delicate with. And again, to proceed with this would mean the possible risk of adding stress to your mind and potentially into a panic. I can tell you from my own experience that sometimes telling the news too soon can be a critically bad idea. Because despite how someone claiming their own resilience, there will be times where someone can fully disclose everything and the patient just doesn't take the info very well. And it isn't just the only emotion of fear and panic, but it's just the triggering of intense emotions is just generally not a good thing to have overall. Right? Following with that logic, it'd be preferable to work with someone who's still calm, and in your case, well, you're a bit confused and trying to grasp at where you are, what happened, and all that. So you're only left to wonder. The only info you have now is just, well, yeah, you were in an accident, but now you're woken up here, so clearly you haven't died yet. It's just better off not to tell the full thing yet. Not until I know that the person under my care is ready. Because yes, that it makes things a lot more difficult when patient now flooded with this new information is internalizing a bunch of that info that was just given to them. And it's something that can build up over time while they're still here. So they can end up complicating things where just the stress of something or the fear of something can be so strong that their body starts to deteriorate and not function correctly in certain ways, meaning that it can elongate the recovery process. So with that, I mean to say, I don't wish to put that on you and risk the chance of extending your stay here, because I'm sure, well, this is going off an assumption, but I'm sure that you'd much prefer getting out of here as soon as possible. Wouldn't that be right? Because I get it, not many people are a fan of going to the hospital, whether that be through their own volition or by some freak accident that unavoidable or just lapse of judgment. The same will be a constant. We're here to take care of people. That much is very obvious. Though the one thing that sadly we can't control is, well, the individual just stopping themselves from doing reckless things. Because you can't exactly tell someone who's been, say, in like a motorcycle accident to just stop riding or stop doing that when it's something that they probably really enjoy. So surprise, surprise, when that same person shows up a few months later with very similar injuries, I was like, wow, I wonder how that happened. I'm just starting to vent a little bit. It's just, people will be irresponsible when they want to be. I suppose I can't complain too much. For some, maybe you just don't have a choice. Some just don't have anything else better to do. But ultimately, that's their life. So my words can only go so far with someone. I can lay out and give someone everything they need to take care of themselves properly, and have it just be for naught when it's either just completely forgotten or disregarded, because at the moment the person might think, I'm fine now, I don't need that, just for it to bite them down the line a year, 2 years, 5 years, a decade later, when it's too late to revert that damage. It's an important thing, and it's a saddening thing. It's that I acknowledge that the work we do here is abundantly generous with helping people. It's just that, you know, half of that fight is just having people learn and know better. Because the thing is, if people hate coming to the doctor so much, then why don't they just take better care of themselves in the first place? Right? You come in here and you get treated and all that. The most optimal way to go about it is to take those preventative measures. And then you won't have to stop by here if you hate the place. So it's no surprise that now the work is more, instead of putting people on the right path, and now it's just keeping people alive from their own decisions. And sure, no matter how, in whatever fashion you look at it, it'll remain that way. There'll always be people like that. But just the volume of cases like these has just only been going up. Because at times it can be nice seeing someone again, but realistically, you don't want to see the same person again showing up multiple times, and even worse with the same issues that have already been confronted. No, that's not true. Far from it, actually. I had thought to myself that maybe the possibility of lingering here long enough would make me hate this kind of work and go work in a different area where I don't have to deal with people in this manner. But as time goes on, it just it just keeps pushing me into affirming that what I did was the right choice of pursuing this particular path. I think I've been talking enough about myself. Yeah, maybe I did get a bit sidetracked. But I think it's a good thing that I'm able to, well, more so you're able to hold a conversation with someone. So I get that's another thing of note too. It's honestly surprising how quick you're able to just be situated and just accept the situation you're in. Kind of an unusually rare thing. Oh, from my experience anyway. That could be completely anecdotal. Well, yeah, this is... Yeah, well, I mean, this place is... To say it's pretty large is kind of an understatement. We're always having people entering and leaving with all sorts of different cases. And it isn't only just watching our patients and everything. We also do deal with a little bit of research here and there, but they're in their own area, but still technically within this building. Right, and I'm sure as well you've heard, it's even during at night it's still quite active. Sure, it slows down a bit when it gets darker out, but it's kind of nice that there's always some activity that you can always hear instead of it going dead quiet. Though I can see the point of how it can be a little bit distracting for some patients that just really like it when it's quiet. But I mean, I'll take that any day over having some activity being audible, because at the same time it does help with easing the emotions of patients that there are always people around, that they're not alone. Has anyone come to visit? Well, No, no, there hasn't. Well, again, I'll get to the certain details once I believe we reach to that stage. Well, no, you're not in any critical situation or immediate danger. Honestly, you're at your most critical was when you were still in your coma. But now that that's past now, you'll be fine. Just as long as there isn't anything unexpected that we end up having to deal with. But still, it's something that I should be able to figure out easily. Yes, there's that too. This was an emergency call for me to come in at this time. Fortunately, I was up at that time, so it didn't take very long for me to get here. But yes, you're under directly my care. So yeah, it's gonna be me you're gonna see repeatedly. And I'll be the one stopping by with having your regular checks. Though if you ever need anything, there's always the button right over there. Whether that be for food, water, or just anything else that the need arises. And someone can come help you out. Or myself if I'm in during those hours. Though typically it's extremely early for me. Right, normally I'm here during the busiest days. Right, since yours truly is, well, probably one of the best here. I don't mean to boast about it, just, yeah, it might sound like it. But they want me around for a reason. You know, so. Yeah, that much is very obvious. No, I'm not the... No, I don't run this place at all. As much as I personally would like to, since I do have a few visions that I think can help improve this place. Yeah, sure, for as good as it is at the moment, there's clearly a lot of things that can still be done better. Not only for efficiency's sake, but just, patient satisfaction. Which is just another way of saying higher survival rates for more extreme cases we take in. Those you can just leave the more minor, smaller stuff to the clinics around here. Well, we won't turn anyone away if it's something on the more minor side. It's just we just would prefer having the available space for stuff only we can handle. You know? So yeah, I'm not sure if there's really anything else to add on to that. But it makes me really happy knowing that with your awakening that you seem to be doing okay. Yeah, there are times where it does get complicated, where someone wakes up and they completely dissociate, feeling that what they're experiencing right now isn't real. Or even a very extreme case that fortunately has never happened with me, but it's happened before, where someone during their coma had essentially experienced a whole nother life in their dreams. And then when waking up, then they heavily dissociated and were yeah, they're not very too keen on continue living. And it's understandable when from their perspective their whole meaning, their whole world in that moment was just stripped away in just a fraction of a second. They end up living this whole life that in actuality took maybe a month or a year. I forget the exact length, but just it's a terrifying and incredible thing at the same time. So yeah, I nod my head at the idea that thankfully you did not have to go through that. Because as fascinating as that might be to me personally, I would hate to see that happen with my own patients. So, yeah, I don't really worry about you, well, when you get to that point of reintegrating back into your life as it was. It can be a bit concerning thinking about it, just, well, all I can really do is deal with it as best I can, right? Oh, yeah, don't get me wrong. I'm able to have the time and the leisure to be able to check up on you and talk to you the way I am right now. Because I'm technically in my off hours, right? And I wouldn't exactly have that same freedom when it's more during more active hours. So it won't be every single day, or maybe even weekly, that I can step in and check in on you like this, unless it's a complete emergency. Then yeah, expect me to drop by real quick. But other than that, normally very occupied with other people under my own care. Yeah, for any other potential advice or my own thoughts about other cases going on. Well, yeah, being as proficient as I am comes at a cost. There isn't too much time off and for me to be on my own. But it's just kind of how it is, where yeah, I did accept early on that a lot of my time would be sacrificed to keep up with things like these, you know? But it's not something I regret either. I'm perfectly okay with it. There's always a lot to be learned and understood. Like I tell everyone, it's an interesting world out there, so might as well stay curious to learn a few things while you're moving through life, right? I think that should about wrap things up for us. But I think you should just keep resting, and yeah, I'll see about probably bringing in a TV for you now that you're awake. Yeah, we got a few of those just laying around sometimes. Mostly donations from the people here actually, which is actually pretty cool. So a lot of the TVs we actually end up using aren't even this old CRTs you would expect to see. So yeah, well, that's one of the luxuries we're able to have. So yeah, I'll see about that, getting a TV in here, so you can at least watch something instead of staring up at the ceiling or whatever else you might find around here. Unless you're personally one that finds staring at paint to be a very interesting thing, then, you know, go wild with that. I'll see about that one too. As for your phone, well, we haven't been able to recover anything really. There just was nothing to find. So, it's amongst that we weren't even able to recover a phone. But fortunately, we're able to identify you and basically get your files as we needed. That's fine if you don't really remember that. You've been here numerous times before. Nothing serious, just you're someone who was quite punctual about having regular checkups. So even the prior past you was quite diligent in that sense. So a little applause for that. And yeah, if for a computer, I don't know. If it's a laptop, sure. Again, I'll have to see what I can do from here with that. I'm pretty sure it'll be okay though. But TV first, laptop after, and then you can be properly situated and get a better look at how your recovery process will go and all that stuff. So just look at taking it easy and everything, and just try not to worry about not knowing the full details. Sooner or later, I will tell you. That I can guarantee. And of course, I won't be too far. So you're, in my expert opinion, you're in good hands. So please place your trust in me to be here with you the entire time. That's all I ever ask of my patients. Yes, it's about time for me to head out now. Who knows how much sleep I'll be able to catch up on. But I don't really regret it either. Well, I'll end up seeing you later throughout the day, so it'll be fine. Try not to miss me too much, and I'll just check in here throughout the day, here and there, whenever the moment, of course. So, yeah, sorry, I'm just trying to see if there was anything else I might have accidentally forgotten or forgot to mention. But I think, yeah, that's good. Yeah, we're fine. I just like to double check and make sure that I covered everything. Okay, well, you take it easy. And I'll ensure that your recovery process can be as quick and as smooth as possible. And get you right back up on your feet. Literally. Okay. Then I'll see you later today. Maybe I'll bring something in special for you. Well, as for what? Well, I guess I'll just have to leave you guessing on that. How's that for a fun surprise? Okay then. Please just say anything if you feel that anything is off or is wrong. Okay? Surprisingly, that went better than expected, but something I can work with. Now see if this idiot's actually still up. Oh, well, you picked up quick. Yeah, I'm finished for the night. It went okay, but a lot of unexpected things, but it turned out fine in the end. Alright, well, yeah, it turns out that a little subject seems to not remember anything. So far from what I can tell, so far we've been able to recall some of the false memories imprinted and has no real sense of how much time has passed. So yeah, it was more or less around a month and a half too soon before they woke up. But I think we're still on track to keep them around. Well, this is one of those that it feels like I'm getting really close to reaching something, but yet also really far from getting a solid conclusion to this. Yeah, well, of course I know that it'd be troublesome if you can recall. Yeah, of course I'd figure much as that as it'd be kind of troublesome if the subject could start recalling their own memories. So what I'm requesting out of you now is to at least pass this up for me, and that is I'd like the subject to be put directly under my name, under my supervision. At this point, I don't think it's something we can, or something I can willingly pass up to anyone else to handle. This one's my responsibility from now on. But I'll make it work. I always find a way, even if it takes a while. thing is, this one's a rare case. So I'd much prefer to control everything within my power to make sure that this one is not another waste. So yes, this one is promising, and the rest should be relatively straightforward for me. Right, the rest is relatively simple, showing the subject a few certain items that'll trigger a sense of familiarity. Because as far as I'm concerned, I'm far ahead of anyone else when it comes to this project. Yeah, that's fine. Just pass up whatever I told you. And of course, in turn, I'd like to know where everyone else sits with their own. Because once I make this breakthrough that I'm looking for, then it'll be real easy for me to start getting some more pull around here. And then I can start getting things done for things that really do matter. Okay, yeah, I'll just leave you to handle things on your end. I'm about done here, and I'm gonna step out and just head straight home. Yeah, we'll see about tomorrow. I don't care if you're there or not. I just want my subject to be untouched by anyone else. Yeah, well, quickly regarding that, yeah, they no longer seem to inherit the personalities and beliefs of the person they were before. Right, entirely different person, I tell you. So for whatever reason someone decides to step in, the same guidelines to interact will not be the same. Just as long as they know that, then it'll be fine. But again, I still would prefer if nobody else would walk in. They're all mine. Yeah. That's it. Okay. It's been a long time since I felt this excited about something. And I won't let it go to waste. Not now.